Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got more Mercedes problems. This is a Mercedes Benz W204. It's a 2009 C300 with a no start. I noticed recently I put the key in to start it and nothing happens. Turn in the key. We've got a really good brand new battery all charged up. And I noticed when I would take the key out and then put it back in, then it would start up, but now it's not doing it at all. So it looks like we have a bad mechanism on the steering column. Mercedes puts these electronic security locks on the steering column, and it's a known issue for them to fail. The dealership wants thousands of dollars to do this, so we're going to, in this video series, we're going to show you how I'm going to do a DIY, and we're going to delete this. We're going to delete this security lock and put an emulator in, or possibly just repair the motor that's in this security lock, but I'm not going to put it back onto the column because it's a major problem to get this device off the column. All right, we'll get under the hood and under the dash and start working on this. Okay, I've been looking into this and my ESL is stuck in the lock position. So the steering wheel's locked, and it's a lot more difficult to get these off the steering column if they're in the locked position. So what I'm going to attempt to do is tap on the module with a hammer to get it to give it that one little bit of turn to get it to unlock. So to get to it, there's 3 screws you're going to need to remove to drop this kick panel. There's also a screw up under here to release the hood latch. And then we're also going to need to undo this connector for the OBD2. So we're going to get this dropped right now. So I released the screw for the hood latch. I disconnected the OBD2, and there's a light bulb back there that you're going to need to release, and then we'll be able to drop down this kick panel. Before I start tapping on that ESL to get it to unlock, I want to prepare to disconnect the battery, because as soon as I get it to unlock, I'm going to disconnect the battery so it stays in the unlock position. If you remove the key before you disconnect the battery, the device will go back into the lock position. So we're just going to go ahead and get ready to disconnect the negative cable. Okay guys, we're going to have to end up doing it the hard way. I tapped as much as I could on that ESL and I could not get it unlocked. Some people had success tapping on it to get it to open up one last time, but it's locked. So we're going to have to do this the hard way and remove the whole entire steering column. Before you do this, go ahead and disconnect the battery because you're going to have to remove the airbag, and you'll end up getting a airbag warning light which will have to be factory reset. So please disconnect the battery. Okay, we've got the battery disconnected, so now we're going to go ahead and start removing the airbag and the steering wheel. Okay guys, to get this airbag off on the 2009 C300, you are going to need a T25 Torx bit. Some people on the newer ones have clips where you just push in, but this one actually need a T25 Torx bit to release it. There's one here and one on the other side. Okay, we're using a T25. Let me get that in there. Okay, we got the airbag off. As we have the airbag released with these 2 T25 Torx. Now, you're going to want to keep a safe distance away from this, just in case it deploys so you don't get injured. Also, remember, you must disconnect the battery before you do this. Now, how you're going to disconnect this, remember there's these T25s, there's 2 of them. That's what holds the bag into the steering wheel housing. And then we've got to release these 2 clips. And there's two little tabs you need to squeeze to remove them. I can't do it and hold the camera at the same time, but you basically get in there, and there's two little tabs, one down here and one down here. Same thing on this. So I'm going to put the camera down while I remove this. We have the airbag removed. Put it in a safe place, and keep your distance away from it. Like point that way, point the airbag away from you. Okay, all right, so we're going to put this away and work on the next step. On this 2009, you're going to need a number 10 hex bit. A number 10 hex bit to get that off. And I just used a breaker bar. It turns to the left, and we got it undone. So there we go. Now before you completely remove this steering wheel, you're going to want to mark the position so that you put it back in the same orientation as it was. Okay, now before we pull this wheel, we're going to mark on here where it's orientated. Okay, before I removed the steering wheel, I marked the splines and the shaft with a Sharpie so that when I reinstall this, I'm going to put it back in the same spot. Okay, we've got the steering wheel removed. Okay guys, we have the clock spring removed, and now we're going to remove the 4 bolts that are holding the steering column. You're going to need an E12 socket with a wobbly and a 6-inch extension. I'm going to show you where the bolts are. Let's see here. We can see them here. There's one right there, right there. Let me turn the light on. There's another one way back there. See there? Another one on that side, and then one right there. So there's 4 of them. So I've got one of them out so far. You are going to need an E12, and we got that one loosened up almost all the way out. There's another one right there. I've got that one loosened up. And then underneath here, oh God, it's hard to see. There's one right there. And then another one, I don't know if I can get the camera, but there's another one back there. So there's 4 of them. Once you get those out, the column should drop down. This is an electric steering column, so there's some connectors that you're going to need to disconnect, as well as the connector for the electronic steering lock. As I got the steering column out of the car and here on my workbench, I'm not going to lie, this took all day to get this steering column out. This is the item that's bad. Since it's stuck in the lock position, there's a couple of alternatives on how to get this off. I'm most likely going to drill and turn it, and then that way I could get it to unlock. So I'm going to do that in the next video.